In today's news, a transition in the financial services industry. BVI Cancer Society observes with call to action. AA operates 6 flights to the VI in a single day. Come together for the people, says Cindy ROSAN. BVI urges international reform ahead of the 4th UN conference. BVI should brace for impact of U.S. decisions. Caribbean shines at the Grammys 2025. Caribbean Airlines reaffirm its commitment to safety. We have the details of this and much more when 284 News returns. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 7. Introducing Travi Rose, Creative Director. Alex Lake, Businessman. Sean Black, Cinematographer. Dakari Wheatley Adams, Content Creator. Donandre Millwood, Educator and Musician. Hashim Dream, Entertainer. James Todman Sr., Contractor. Dr. Albert Tompkins, Psychotherapist. Walter Barrett, Author. Rakim Todman, Producer and Engineer. Kamal Letzum, Photographer. Roosevelt Smith III, Sales Manager and Hospitality Professional. Leland Abraham, IT Technician and Cybersecurity Analyst. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, every Wednesday at 8 p.m., exclusively on 284 Media. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redefine yourself through the stories of real-life heroes. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 7, Raising a Generation of Greatness. Voted Top 35 Gentleman Podcast Worldwide by FeedSpot and BI Icon Award winner. Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Tuesday's wish to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, the BVI's financial services sector continues to navigate various challenges while seeking to safeguard its future. The importance of the sector as well as its stability remains crucial to these Virgin Islands. Mr. Kenneth Baker, Managing Director and CEO of the Financial Services Commission, recently provided key updates on the financial services sector in the Virgin Islands. He was at the time speaking as a guest on a Talking Points radio program. Barker spoke on the transition of the beneficial ownership information from bosses to Virgin.
In 2017,
yes,
we opened Virgin, and the reason for that is because of the devastation impact that we had here.
Right.
Okay. By opening Virgin,
tell us what Virgin is.
Well, Virgin is a computer system that we use at the FSC for company corporation administering business companies.
I got you. Okay.
It's an online system. It's it's been around. It's about close to 20 years now.
Okay.
It's time for an upgrade, and we're in the process of upgrading it.
Okay.
And when it was created, we put restrictions in place so that it only be used from within the BVI.
Okay.
And that was really to protect jobs as well, because the registered agent business means you have a local presence in the BVI, and we expect the work to be done from the BVI. We opened it up after Irma, which was a blessing in disguise for us, because it allowed for work to continue despite the devastation, and it allowed for government to receive money when nothing else was happening in the jurisdiction. And then we closed it back the following year, I think around March or April.
You closed it down?
Yes.
Okay.
After things had settled down.
He also addressed access to beneficial ownership information as well as its implications.
So the Commission undertook, we took an MTR media regulator here in the BVI in mid-December, and the subject of that discussion was the new beneficial ownership regime.
Okay.
We say new, but it's actually not new, because we've started collecting beneficial ownership in a centrally housed location since 2017.
Okay.
But the international standards have since changed, which requires that information be held by a public authority that is accurate and up to date. And so legislation was passed, and we started the process of collecting beneficial ownership information in the Virgin platform since the 2nd of February of this year. So we undertook another MTR in Hong Kong, which, as most people know, is our largest market. Somewhere between 46% of companies, emanate from that region of the world. And then we moved on to London. London being sort of the prime location for legal advice. And so most of the law firms in the BVI have a presence in London where they interact with their clients around the world. So we conducted MTRs in both of those jurisdictions, which from all account was well received.
Baker highlighted other critical issues impacting the sector, such as outsourcing financial services professionals.
Now, there's an outsourcing provision in the Regulatory Code, which we suspended.
Okay.
And in fact, that question came up here in BVI, and particularly in Hong Kong, in a number of occasions.
Okay.
And I go back to the same beneficial ownership regime, where they've given a 6-month time frame for existing companies to file their beneficial ownership information. And the question was raised, can we do that from Hong Kong? And the answer was no, because we expect that activity to be done here in the BVI. And they rebutted, well, if you open up the system to allow to do it from Hong Kong, we can get it done in a faster time period and in more accurate.
Right.
And it sounds good in theory,
Yes.
but it's in practice, it has significant ramification for the subject you just raised about, for employment here in BVI, because the work should be done here in the BVI. Once you open that gate, it's very difficult to close it.
Exactly.
And we have seen in recent months persons being laid off, made redundant. And if we open that gate, that trend will certainly continue.
Today on World Cancer Day, the BVI Cancer Society stands united with millions around the globe to raise awareness, honor survivors, and remember those we've lost, and to commit to action in the fight against cancer. Cancer, of course, touches all of us, whether directly or through loved ones. But together, we can reduce its impact by embracing early detection, healthy lifestyles, and supporting those battling the disease. The Cancer Society marked the observation with a release of this infographic to their platforms. The new World Cancer Day theme for 2025 to 2027 is United by Unique, places people at the center of care and their stories at the heart of conversation. Through this theme, the BVI Cancer Society aims to highlight the individual experiences of those affected by cancer, fostering a sense of unity and understanding within the community. The organization encourages residents to get involved by participating in awareness activities, donating to support services, and advocating for improved cancer care and prevention measures. For more information on the BVI Cancer Society's initiatives and ways to get involved, please visit their Facebook page, Virgin Islands Cancer Society. In a recent announcement, the government of the Virgin Islands announced on Saturday, February 1st, 2025, that American Airlines successfully operated 6 flights to the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport. In a government release, that is, Minister for Communications and Works, the Honorable Kai M. Reimer, said this significant event highlights the growing confidence in the territory's airlift capabilities and its vibrant tourism sector. Minister Reimer added that the operation, and I quote, of multiple flights from American Airlines greatly enhances connectivity between the Virgin Islands and the United States, reinforcing the Virgin Islands' status as a premier Caribbean destination. This increase in air service is expected to facilitate easier access for both visitors and residents, ultimately driving higher travel volumes and stimulating economic activity through the region. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Communications and Works, Mrs. Elvia Smith-Maduru, added that this milestone also emphasizes the ongoing commitment to expanding the airport infrastructure at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport. With air travel demand to the Virgin Islands on the rise, enhancing airport facilities is crucial for accommodating future growth. The successful operation of these 6 flights underscores the importance of modernizing infrastructure to welcome more flights and passengers, and supporting the goal of establishing a vibrant year-round tourism industry in the territory, said Mrs. Smith-Maduru. Managing Director of the BVI Airports Authority, Mr. Kurt Manal, said, and I quote, "The operation of these 6 flights by American Airlines not only marks a significant achievement in airlift capacity, but also reflects a strong commitment to fostering economic prosperity in the Virgin Islands. This event opens new opportunities for tourism development while reinforcing plans for future airport enhancements to meet increasing demand." Up next, we have much more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Just give me my service. Yeah. Just give me my service. Just give me my service.
Make the switch to CCT and get connected today. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Visit any CCT store or call us at 444-4444. CCT, Life Unlimited.
Yo, everything good there?
Bye. This thing got me one way that day.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you mean? Hey, this ain't like you, you know?
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I watching ball. I've been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Local commentator Cindy ROSAN is calling on the various party leaders to unify for the betterment of these Virgin Islands. ROSAN acknowledged that everyone has their own story, but noted the public cares more about whether the opposing fractions can come together rather than the details of the fallout between them. The commentator also expressed concern over the wranglings and separation that continue to plague the opposition, she said, stating it is clear the various members are constantly at odds with one another.
This has been going on literally for 7 years. Okay? And we know from whence it came. Like, we don't know all the facts. You'll never know all the facts because everybody has a story. But I think at this point, the public really doesn't care where the fallout came from. What we care about is, are you guys at some point going to unify for the betterment of the territory, for the people that continue to vote for you from a party perspective, you know, whether it's PVIM or, the NDP? You know, and this separation, it's clear to see like these guys are kicking each other in the shin bone constantly.
ROSAN questioned how, after 7 years of discussion, the 2 main opposition party leaders have been unable to unify their factions. She described this as hugely frustrating, saying the people believe in the politicians more than the politicians believe in themselves. The commentator urged the opposition to put aside their personal interest and egos to focus on the needs of these Virgin Islands and the members of the electorate who have placed their trust in them. ROSAN also said the people deserve leaders who can get it together and stop the constant back and forth that has characterized the political landscape. She observed that the 3 opposition members who announced an alliance this week were demonstrating a willingness to compromise that has eluded other leaders.
In all the wranglings that have gone on or is continuing to go on, these three guys united and they made it out the gate first. That's how I look at it. They made it out the gate first. And people want to know where I come down on, their announcement yesterday. And besides that, there is, I don't want to say confusion too much. Because I think that they're still trying to make sure that they're not offending, other people within, the different parties and other leaders.
While acknowledging her personal relationships with some of the opposition members, the commentator emphasized that it is imperative for them all to put the territory first and demonstrate the type of leadership the people so willingly deserve. At the recently concluded United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean meeting on measuring development in the Santiago, Chile from the 27th to 28th of January, held ahead of the 4th UN Conference on Financing for Development in June and July in Spain, the British Virgin Islands Special Envoy Vice Chair of UN ECLAC, Mr. Benito Wheatley, stressed the critical importance of factoring in the vulnerability and climate resilience of the small island developing states of Latin America and the Caribbean as a region into any reforms of the existing financing for the development architecture, which currently bases countries' and territories' level of development, their access to official development assistance, as well as their graduation from ODA primarily on GDP per capita income. Mr. Wheatley lamented the unfair treatment of Caribbean SIDS and the other developing countries in Latin America and the Caribbean who lack access to development assistance they need for sustainable development because they are either categorized as middle and high income or are low income and slated to be graduated from development assistance in the very near future. He expressed the British Virgin Islands' full support for a multidimensional development measure to assess countries' level of development and needs which go beyond GDP per capita and the primary indicator. He also stated that Latin America and the Caribbean hold a common position that no country or territory should be left behind, regardless of income category. In his contribution on the new metric for development, the Special Envoy emphasized the importance of vulnerability and climate resilience to SIDS and as indicators of both their ability to withstand hurricanes and other extreme weather events, to recover quickly, and to maintain their level of development. Mr. Wheatley also highlighted the dilemma of the associate members of ECLAC who are not included in the internationally agreed multi-dimensional vulnerability index, despite islands such as the British Virgin Islands being struck by 2 Category 5 hurricanes in 2017, which caused catastrophic damage of $2.3 billion, and wiped out the tourism sector that drives employment. Now, the territory's government did not qualify for concessional financing to rebuild and has financed recovery with commercial loans at rates just below 7%. Social commentator Mr. Claude Skelton Klein, on a recent episode of his radio talk show, Honestly Speaking, spoke on the ongoing immigration policies recently implemented in the United States. He was at the time referencing its impact on territories like the British Virgin Islands.
We are the ones who live here, call this home, and then we are the caretakers. We are both bridging between the repository and the progenitors of this space, this place, and our neighborliness towards each other. So I'm going to spend 40 minutes dealing with that in a myriad of ways. Of course, you can see what's happening since the election of President Donald Trump. Whether you like it or not, or we like it or not, he's the president. And we saw a slew of executive orders that was done within hours of his arrival in the White House Oval Office. We see that how some of that, a majority of that, is impacting not just the people who live on the mainland, but to show you how it will impact us here. And I mean, just traveling to St. Thomas this past weekend, we see ICE is out everywhere. And what is that? ICE is the acronym, I guess, for the enforcement agency concerning itself with Border Patrol and picking up of persons who they deem not to belong legally but reside in the United States mainland and the U.S. Virgin Islands. We see lists that's been printed from different countries and ethnic groups.
Mr. Klein highlighted the fact that the BVI's borders are porous and that officials should be paying close attention to the fact that as a result, the BVI will be an ideal place for persons seeking refuge.
And the reason why I'm talking about this, about how it impacts us, because, we are a porous border. One of the national security deficiencies in this country is how porous our borders are. And I guess, it's the benefit and it's the challenge of being an island nation. We are surrounded by water. We don't have a coast guard. Customs does not have all of the resource it will even need to do what needs to be done efficiently and effectively. And so there are some things, though, within our control, and given the new reality in which we are having to live as a country, there are some mitigating factors that should be had, because the truth of the matter is, when persons become desperate, and no one wants to live under the constant threat, go to sleep under the constant threat that they would be deported, that they don't have all of their documents in order. No, I mean, and we must empathize and we must walk in their shoes. So there are two things I'm going to say about that. One is that a lot of those people is going to be driven to some of our outer islands, including the main island, Virgin Gorda, US Van Dyke, Anegada. What mitigating factors? What do we have in place that addresses the inevitable?
Klein warned that we should brace for the impact on our territory, as it will impact us in various ways.
We use the US dollar. I mean, that's one of the things that makes the Virgin Islands such an attractive place. That's one of the singular and seminal reasons why persons migrate here. For much of them, their goal is to get to the U.S. But now that with this new regime and the use of military and every law enforcement agency on a political promise that the president has made, I'm saying we ought to brace for the impact of that persons are going to find some new haven in which they can live a better quality of life than where they left. And so to the powers that be, to the national security officials, to government, to the ancillary bodies and departments, I suspect and I hope that we are at least cognizant, aware of what's probable to happen. What, if anything, are we doing that addresses those inevitabilities?
Additionally, he also appealed to persons to exercise empathy and show support for those affected. Up next, we have much more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Start the year off with more. More speed, more downloading, more savings, and more fire. CCT Fire Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected. Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second, super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVI CCT Fire and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Welcome back, everyone. The Grammy Awards took place this past weekend, leading to several achievements and vital moments to be celebrated by the Caribbean community. One such moment was a video shared by Virgin Islands artist MONEA, where she is joined by VYBZ KARTEL in promoting their upcoming performances in the British Virgin Islands.
That's it? Yeah. That's an array. I represent MONEA, and she and me will be in the BVI, March 15, 2025. No?
Be there.
Or be wow.
Elsewhere in the region, St. Kitts and Nevis has made history by winning a Grammy as an artist on Chris Brown's 11:11 album, which took home the award for Best R&B Album at the 66th Annual Grammy Awards. Messiah, known for his unique dancehall style, contributed to the track Nightmares from the deluxe edition of 11:11. This Grammy win marks a monumental achievement for both the artist and his country. Meanwhile, further down the island of St. Lucia, of course, the producer made the island proud by bringing home his first Grammy. Hailing from St. Lucia, Johan Detterville, known by his stage name as Yogi the Producer, has made St. Lucian talent shine on the world stage with his work on the same Chris Brown album, which earned the award for Best R&B Album of the Grammys on Sunday night. Detterville has also produced songs for other internationally acclaimed singers, songwriters like Nicki Minaj and Kalani. On the regional scene, Caribbean Airlines has taken note of a recent statement dated January 28, 2025, issued by the Trinidad and Tobago Airline Pilots Association regarding the emergency landing of flight BW 1541 on January 27, 2025. Now, the airline has stated that it categorically rejects any suggestions that safety is being compromised and is seeking to reassure the traveling public that safety remains the foundation and #1 priority of its operations. Caribbean Airlines stated that it operates in strict compliance with local and international aviation safety regulations and is subject to rigorous oversight from multiple independent, local, and international regulatory bodies. Now, some key facts presented include the adherence to international standards. Caribbean Airlines complies fully, they say, with the International Civil Aviation Organization standards and the IATA Operational Safety Audit, both of which are globally recognized for ensuring the highest levels of airline safety and operational excellence. In addition, independent audits and regulatory compliance. The airline has consistently passed, they say, all required audits, and importantly, it is an approved FAA repair station in accordance with the specified FAA capability listing, meaning that its maintenance and engineering department has been certified by the FAA as having the technical expertise to perform repairs, inspections, and alterations on aircraft and aircraft components, meeting strict international aviation standards. In addition, ongoing investigation in line with the industry's best practices and regulatory requirements following the emergency landing on January 27th. Caribbean Airlines has fully activated its operational response protocols, including immediately removing all relevant personnel from active duty pending the outcome of the investigation, cooperating fully with the authorities to conduct comprehensive internal and external investigations. Additionally, the airline considers that the TTALP's assertions is entirely reckless, they say, and in no way in the best interests of the airline, its stakeholders, and the valued customers it continues to serve. Caribbean Airlines say they are assuring the public that it remains steadfast in upholding the highest standards of aviation safety as demonstrated by its strong safety record and ongoing commitment to regulatory excellence. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at Tweet4 Media and, of course, on our WhatsApp channel for daily updates, as well as to like us on Facebook at Tweet4 Media and Tweet4BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. A happy Tuesday. Goodbye.